Now is the time to make big, expensive projects that cost billions of dollars. So the fact that they're building the fastest multi-billion-dollar train in all of Europe is really no surprise. So what exactly is this super project? The High-Speed 2 is the proposed fastest train in Europe that will stretch across the United Kingdom. By fastest, I do mean fastest. Currently, the UK's fastest train is a Class 374 Eurostar E320, which can hit 199 miles per hour. HS2 will be much faster, with a top speed of 225 miles per hour. So what this essentially is the most expensive flex in the UK train history. Only because the Hogwarts Express isn't real, that is. You just know that baby could hit 250 without breaking a sweat. It was magic after all. So exactly how much is all of this going to cost? Well, however much you're thinking, go ahead and double it, and then double it again. This thing has ballooned over its budget so many times. The initial projection was that it would cost $30.9 billion. While that's a substantial amount of money, it was nowhere near the final prediction. It first creeped up to $36 billion within a year. Then by 2015, the entire project had gone up to $56.6 billion. By 2019, it was said to be $87 billion, and now it is over $100 billion, and likely will continue to rise. Just to really put that in perspective, the Freedom Tower in New York City cost around $3 billion to build. That's barely a drop in the bucket. The train itself will be a Zafiro B300. The 16-car train can sit over 1,200 seats. It's also fully electric, clean, and features a pretty sleek design. The cost of a ticket for this beauty will range between 180 to 240 pounds. It's kind of crazy that something so cool very nearly didn't come to be. How did this entire thing come to be in the first place? In 2003, the United Kingdom opened its first ever high-speed rail. The High-Speed 1, or the Channel Tunnel Rail Link, is a 67-mile high-speed train. It flies at 186 miles per hour through the country. Building this gigantic project was not cheap either. It's been reported that each and every mile of this railway cost over $50 million. Altogether, it cost over $6.8 billion. As impressive as this project is, it really just serves as proof of concept for the much bigger project that followed it. You know, the High-Speed 2. The new train would be bigger, faster, and so much more expensive. In 2009, the government made the case for another high-speed train. It turned out to be one of the most ambitious projects the UK ever took on. That's why the project went under many stages of early development, reviews, and plans. Honestly, it looked like this would be another fever dream that would never come to fruition. Then, in April of 2020, formal approval of the plan was taken on. You will be able to catch a ride on High-Speed 2 sometime between 2029 and 2033. Though, ironically enough, don't expect it to be built quickly or efficiently. Anyone who follows projects like these knows that delays are inevitable. Maybe you can buy a ticket around 2050. The route for this train has been split into 3 phases. The first phase goes from London to Birmingham. Phase 2 stretches from Birmingham to Manchester to East Midlands Parkway. Phase 3 may stretch to Cardiff, Liverpool, Bristol, or even Scotland. So they really do mean to make good on the united part of the United Kingdoms. For instance, the commute from London to Birmingham will be drastically reduced. At the moment, the commute isn't over the top, but it isn't exactly easy either. By car, it takes about 2.5 hours, and that's if there's minimal traffic. There's already a train route that takes that time down just a bit. You can get yourself a ride from one stop to the other in just over an hour and a half. HS2 means to drop this to under an hour, which is about as convenient gets. Specifically, the HS2 route from London to Birmingham will be a quick 52 minutes. That's not even enough time to squeeze in a movie. Of course, once the inevitable rocket-powered HS3 gets built, I'm sure you'll be able to make the 120 miles in like 25 minutes. While the main selling point for this train is that it will connect different areas of the UK for citizens of the country to be able to cheaply travel, it also has another big sell. More than the jobs it will create, it will also feature a huge boost to one of the country's biggest industries, tourism. That's right, tourism is a big deal in the UK. It's been reported that the tourism industry brings in a massive surge of money each and every year, even more than the train is worth. That would be roughly 40 million people who collectively spend around $200 billion. People come from all over the world to see sights like the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, and hundreds of other big sites. Most of that's just London though. Nearly half of all tourists just visit London. Around 19 million. The high-speed train would make it so much easier for tourists to not just visit the UK's most famous city, but to see all of the other sights the rest of the country has to offer. This will lead to new jobs, new fame, and millions of new tourists. No one likes to drop money quite like tourists do. Of course, the main selling point for this train is that it would unite what is described as a divided country. The citizens of London seem to be disconnected from other areas of the country, which this project seeks to remedy by making it much easier for citizens to travel from one side of it to the other. Projects like these tend to have lofty ambitions and pretty language like this. Funnily enough, despite the project's desire to unite the country, it's actually caused quite a bit of division and controversy. This train sells itself as a public system of transportation that would massively reduce the need for gas-powered vehicles traveling across the UK and would thus be much better for the environment. Its detractors have pointed out that simply building the system would be incredibly damaging to the environment, which kind of defeats the purpose to some. Then there's the promise that it will bring thousands of jobs to the UK. As controversial as this project may be, honestly, I'm ready to buy my ticket right now. Trains are awesome.